Oh, hi. Pool Boy here, and welcome to the Glitton Things podcast, where two beautiful women just sit down and talk about everyday topics, politics, sports, social issues, anything that comes to mind, really. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Oh, did I mention they're lesbian? I knew you'd like that.
All right, let's go. We're in your neighborhood, baby. We got Pat Lange with us tonight, which is like a joy of joys for me. It was a couple shows ago that I had kind of talked about you and put Pat Lange into the atmosphere, and then Pat Lange showed up, and I was like, yes, let's go. We're on it. What's up, Standy? Yeah, this will be fun. It won't be frustrating, Kenneth, I promise.
Is there a way I can see the comments, or you know what? I probably don't need to see them. That's fine.
It's more.
I'll be paying attention to them and not you guys. So
it takes a minute to get used to that. But if you want to, the comments, you just have to hit like the comment button. And are you on a computer?
Yeah, I'm on a computer.
Yeah, just hit the comment button at the top of your screen.
Oh, there it is.
Yep. Yeah, there you go.
Oh, there we go.
There you go. Now you got it.
He's like, I feel like home now. We're more comfortable.
Yeah. Heidi, Megan, Sean, PK,
Yeah.
what's up?
Thanks for having me.
No, this is cool. There's been a lot of things that I've wanted to ask you over my time watching Savon's podcast. So this is really fun. And I love the episode that you did do with him. I watched that. What was it? The presidential election one?
Yeah. He had sent me a link and said, "Hey, come on for the election. No pressure." He was cool as shit about it. He's like, "And if you don't want to go on, don't worry about it." He said, "But it's all going to be fun." And that's what it was. He was great.
And then he
really is, though.
He is. He's a good guy.
Yeah.
Me and him, I always go at him on the show, and that's because that's who I am, and I like calling out what I think is bullshit. But we DM a lot, and it's very cordial, and he's a super nice guy, and we never insult each other. And I think he has a heart of gold, and I guarantee you I would be friends with him. And, we just have political differences. That's all, and that's fine.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that is something that I've realized too, because hearing Savon for the first times, like I was also not a fan. I didn't agree with a lot of things that he said. And, it took me a long time to understand what he was trying to say and like take the, what do I call it? Like the aggressive part of it sometimes and be like, okay, wait a minute, hold on. What is he trying to say? Or the triggering parts that were so triggering for me. It took me a minute to kind of be able to get past those. And then I'm like, okay, well, what is he actually saying? Okay, maybe I don't agree with all of what he's saying, but I can understand where he's coming from. So how long for you did it kind of take you to kind of see that side of him?
It took a while.
Mm-hmm.
How I found his show, I still can't, I don't remember how I found his show. I think what got me into CrossFit was Decade of Fitness. I had a buddy who was doing CrossFit forever, and he was like, "Hey, you need to start doing CrossFit." And I just didn't want to do it. And then I saw Decade of Fitness, and I'm like, "Oh my God, this freaking movie is unbelievable." Mm-hmm. And next thing you know, 10 years later, I'm still doing CrossFit or whatever it was. And then I started watching all his other videos, like the ones he did in Montana, the Big Sky videos. And I've watched those videos hundreds of times. And then I found out it was Savon Matossian, who was the guy who basically did all that stuff. And somehow I got to his podcast, and I'm thinking, this is great. I love CrossFit. It was the winter time, I believe, at my work, a lot of downtime. I watched it for like 2 days in a row, and then I quickly realized, holy shit, this isn't CrossFit. This is freaking politics. And we had an argument when I realized I could comment. I didn't even know you could comment. I was like, this is great. This is interactive. And I used my son's account, and his name was 12 Daily Doses. And it was literally his account with all his little videos. That's how I logged into YouTube the first time. And then we started going at it. But it probably took me about 6 or 7 months before I realized, yeah, he's got a show to do. And he's really brilliant at the way he does it, because he draws in people like me and people like you said at the beginning. But if you really look into what he's saying, I get a lot of what he says, and I am not as liberal as he might want to believe, or as all these people in the chat might want to believe. I think we agree on a lot of different stuff, but yeah, it took me a little while.
Yeah. No, they say you're liberal. You fly the flag, right?
Of course I do. I'm like super liberal. They think I'm one of these guys who stands in the middle of the road and chains myself to a barrel. Like injustice. I hate those fucking people. I hate them. So but you have what 100 characters and they could comment on YouTube. It's sometimes hard to get your point across.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm so curious. This is one of the ones. Oh, shit. I'm not even going to make smalls. I'm not even going to edge you a little bit. I'm just going to ask you the questions. I've always wondered this, of all the comments that you've made or whatever, you are so, or at least it feels like that you're so pro LGBTQ, and you always give them a pass.
Yeah,
And
I am. And I will always be. And for the record, I don't have any gay. There's nobody in my family who's gay. I never had any friends growing up who was gay, or male or female. At least they didn't come out then. But I grew up in a house where we were taught to accept everyone, no matter who they were, and that stuck with me. And when I was about, I think, 14 or 15 years old, a kid blew his head off. Gay kid. That turned out that nobody knew he was.
was he? Wait, how old are you?
No, I'm almost 50. I'm 49.
Yeah, that was the kid that was. It was like Nebraska or Alabama.
Oh no, that's another story. Yeah, the kid was pistol whipped up on the top of the mountain. Yeah. By those losers. No, this was a kid in my town who committed suicide.
That you knew.
Yeah, he committed suicide, and it turned out he was gay, and that really hit me. And I really can't imagine what it was like for people in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, even now. I mean, what it was like for you guys to have realized at some point in your life that you were different than everybody else, and you were, according to society, you were different. And you had determined that you weren't attracted to one sex or the other, and it was probably scary for you. And how many people fucking hate you guys because of that? Still to this day. And I know Seven's like, there's no fucking racist people in the world. Bullshit. There are. I know.
Of course there are. Yeah, sure.
So many people in Boston. I know them who will say the N-word. No problem.
Boston is not a joke. Yeah,
and
Boston.
They literally look at black people like, fuck these ends. These people are fucking losers. And that's how they feel. That's how they were brought up. That's how they were raised. And there are still people like that with homosexuals. There are still people like that in the church that I know. That's why I'm big time anti-religion, because I don't know how you can be super religious if a book literally tells you that you need to put those people to death.
Okay, don't go too far down there. I have all these.
All right.
Sean Roddy, a white dude with a goatee supporting LGBTQ. It can't be.
I mean,
I get it. Too. I know, and that's why I'm asking him, because it is curious, like why? And so I just assumed that there had to be something, and obviously there was something that you were growing up with that you saw that you were like, okay, I care. So I get that now.
I just can't stand the persecution of anyone who hasn't done anything wrong. I mean, like Sevan loves to talk about the pedos. I'm with him, man. Burn those fuckers at the stake. You touch a kid, I'll light the fire. I'll throw the match. But gay people, I mean, I'm sorry, they don't choose to be gay, and I'm not gay, but I can just promise you that nobody would choose that lifestyle based on how it was back in the day. And
no, you wouldn't.
No, you just wouldn't. And to think like, oh, of course they can just change their ways, and they're just evil and they're sinners. That just infuriates me. So no, I love gay people. I feel for them. I'm glad things have changed, and I'm glad a lot of people have turned their ways and have accepted. And I love Pride Month. I fucking love it when it pisses off the righties. It fucking cracks me up.
You really, anything Sevan said, or like anything any of us say about Pride Month when we critique it or we have an issue with it, you don't have an issue with it. You're just like, hey, Pride, go. Yeah, see, that's crazy. I definitely have a problem with kids being at a Pride parade. I don't think that.
I think with the way that it is now, I think that from what it was before. It was a celebration and being able to walk down the street. And now it seems like, and again, this could be media, this could be, the clips that we see in the reels, what the media wants to show us. If you're not physically there, then obviously you're only going to get some part of the story, right?
Yeah.
So it's seeming like that it is completely, it's more sexualized, where there's more nudity, there's inappropriate physical touch, sometimes there's sex, like, and all of these type of things, where for kids, it's almost or not almost, like, it's introducing sexualization to young kids. And so I think that is the questions that we have of why all of us, like, yes, being gay is a sexual orientation. Like, that's what it is.
Did you ever go to a gay pride parade, like, when you were younger?
No.
And it was way different, dude.
Yeah, I just want to interject. I mean, I don't agree with any of that shit either. And I do think, like you said, that is not the norm. That is more the outlier. And of course, when we see that shit, I don't there shouldn't be naked guys running around, and those people aren't there to support gay people. They're there because they're fucking being assholes, and they shouldn't be allowed to be there. They should be kicked out of there. And kids that are there to support family members or friends, that's fine. But you're right, like, when it becomes more of a spectacle, then it's a problem. I'm with that. When I say I support Pride Month, I just support homosexuals in general.
Families.
Yeah. And originally that's what it was. It was just like, hey,
I would go if you guys said, hey, let's go to the parade. I'd go with you. But if my son and daughter were there and somebody was walking around naked, I would absolutely confront that person.
Right.
And that's just me. But of course, Sevi probably I support all that shit, but I don't.
You don't think it's the norm, but who would Mike? Yeah, I would argue that now it is the norm. Back then I would say it's not. Like, I would say, like, hey, it's literally what dykes on bikes. It was like, there was no ass out, basically. It was just chicks on motorcycles. It was dudes just being able to wear crop tops and walk around and have painted nails and whatever. And it was
heels and drag queens and
the drag queen float. It was fine.
Like Provincetown, right? You guys
P-Town.
Okay. So P-Town is a spectacle. There's drag queens everywhere and they're running around half naked. That's where that belongs. And that type of culture probably goes to some of these parades that we saw in Michigan, probably in California. I mean, I watch the news in Massachusetts, the local stuff. I don't really see a lot of that shit here. And Massachusetts is as pride friendly as it gets,
Of course. But don't you think it's funny that Massachusetts, like, Massachusetts is so pride friendly, but then, like, if you watch any kind of documentaries on athletes going to that's where you get the racism. Yep. That's where you get the N-word. That's where you get at sporting events. But it's a tolerant.
There might be a majority left-wing population here, judging by the people that are elected. It obviously is. But there is a core of people that have been born and raised in New England for, through families for 100 years, who still feel the way that you had just said.
Yeah.
And
I can see that.
It's everywhere.
I just think that's crazy.
It is crazy. Everybody thinks, like, I get in arguments with, so I love the people. I've become friendly with a lot of people on that Sevon chat. And some of them are like, oh, fuck Boston, that fucking liberal shitty ass place. You come here for 2 seconds, you'd absolutely love it. And you would never think that it's a liberal.
I went to college in Massachusetts. I went to Northeastern.
Oh, yeah,
I loved it.
Right there.
I know that's where
it's a great city. I love New York. I like all the cities.
Yeah.
Of course, you find bad parts of every city. It's just the way it is.
So are you a very individual, like, situation kind of focused person versus blaming an entire group, for instance? So like, if an individual does something shitty or a couple of them do something shitty, it's more important to look at that specific issue with those specific people versus blaming an entire group of people.
Yeah. So, like, great example. in the 80s and 90s, I would say I would blame the entire Catholic Church and the people that went, including my parents, for what was going on, because everybody knew what was going on, but nobody did anything about it. Nowadays, if that happens, I don't blame religious people. I don't blame Christians, because there has been a change, and kids are not being targeted anymore like they were, altar boys, and for the hundreds of thousands of kids that were molested in Europe and the United States, while parents looked the other way because they were afraid of what God would think if they intervened. So then I would have said, fuck Catholicism, fuck religion. It's the most evil thing on the planet. And nowadays, I would look at it like, yeah, it's just some rogue asshole doing it. I'm not going to blame everybody. And that's the difference between me and like Savan. Like, he sees a gay pride parade and somebody's walking around naked, and he's like, this is what they all are. They're all like this. They're all pedophiles. The pedophile thing drives me crazy, because gay people are not fucking pedophiles. They're gay.
Okay. So, oh man, we are ripping so many Band-Aids off early tonight. Let's go. There's right. I know that you don't like religion because of the pedophile thing.
Yeah, I didn't listen. I'm okay. I have a lot of religious friends. If religion makes you happy and it makes you live your life better, I am 100% for it. It's just not for me. But when somebody starts going at me about it, then I'm going to give them facts, and that's when we get in fights and arguments. I don't want to do that.
The fact is that there's pedophiles everywhere, though.
Right.
Like gymnastics.
Exactly.
Like schools, anywhere where it's easy to have access to the freaking Boy Scouts. Yep. Like it was crazy. And when I saw that documentary, I was like, well, my kid's never going into the Boy Scouts. Right. It's just not.
And how shitty is that? Because he can't go experience being with a bunch of young boys, learning boy shit, and like to take that from him. Like, that's adults taking shit from kids, and that's everywhere. It's everywhere.
So even in the LGBT community, my thought process is, hey, I don't want to make it easier. And there are pedophiles like hanging out and are just chilling under our banner.
Sure.
Do you know what I mean?
There's no way you can stop that. But it's not like gay people.
Right, but don't make it easier. Like, don't be like, hey, so we have a transgender runner right now, male to female, running in one of the high schools on Long Island.
Yep.
They haven't even started to do any of the process of transitioning. No hormones, no nothing, no puberty blockers, even though I disagree with all of that. But like, it's allowed. But but nothing. He's just running with girls and dating girls.
Is completely asinine. I can't understand for the life of me how anyone who was born a man, a boy, whatever, can then be allowed to compete with girls. It makes absolutely no sense. It's fucking crazy. If a girl wants to go with boys, go right ahead.
Right.
It's different.
Right.
It's fucking different. Yep. But you can't be in sports. You know what? Start a fucking trans league if it's so important to you. You can't just go dominate a bunch of women. That's bullshit.
But that's the thing. That's always been my point. It's like, I'm not against gay people. I'm not against even trans people. I'm just against, hey, don't make it easier for pedophiles to find a place to do gross shit.
Yep. All right. That's a good point. And I understand that. I still don't think it's like Pool Boy just said, he thinks it's the norm. I just don't. I mean, I think gay people just want to be gay. I don't think they want to.
Like Joe Ellis in Savon's chat. Love her. Have the utmost respect. We'll always like be absolutely respectful and whatever to her.
I think
no problems.
I also think though that it's, again, kind of going back to what I said before, it feels like the norm because that is the fixation of so many things. Right. But I also feel like it's important to bring up situations like that. Like, we've had many situations on Long Island, both close to the city and all the way on the tail end of it, of stories of teachers starting to transition children without parents knowing. So like, it's important that we talk about. Like, so they start with social transition first. And a friend of ours made a really good point. So, and this kind of took me back for a second to think about it this way. So when we like, people can change their names and it's normal. So we got married. My last name is her last name. I chose to take her last name. So when I did that, Colleen,
I'm the butch one. I need that for my ego. You know what I mean?
and I love her last name. My maiden name, that person like no longer exists. And we do it all the time. Or nicknames, for instance. Like, say, you had a crazy nickname or whatever, or people called you Pat, but your real name was Andrew. And nobody knew that was your real name. Everybody just called you Pat because that was your nickname. You're going to live life through that. So, okay, fine. Someone wants to change their name. They want to have a nickname. They feel more comfortable with that. Okay, fine. But it's starting the next couple steps of talking to, like getting them in contact with doctors and therapists and the hormone process and all this type of stuff. And parents not knowing, or one parent.
Law that they tried to pass where they said that, and I agree, that's bullshit. And I don't know what state it was in, and I believe Sevan was the one who mentioned it, where teachers at schools didn't have to tell the parents if a kid came out to them as trans because they were in fear of telling their parents and what the repercussions would be.
Isn't that under Prop 1 here?
Yeah, that's us too.
Us.
We have it too.
Yep.
Yeah, and then teachers will hide behind that and then start to do what you just said. And I'm with you. That's a bad idea.
Hold on, babe.
Yeah,
sorry, 1 second.
No.
So to my point, going back to what Pool Boy was saying, is that it's the norm, and you're saying like you don't think it's the norm. It feels like the norm because it's everywhere. But don't you feel like it's important to talk about these extremes like this with as much emphasis on it, like, or even more emphasis on it, because they are happening. So I know a lot of times, like I've had conversations with some of my friends when I've said stuff like that, and they're like, well, it's not happening. And like, you can't believe everything you said. It's all right-wing stuff. And I'm like, I don't think it is. I think because I hear stories of the actual kids talking about their detransitions and all this type of stuff. And I wish my parents knew. And if my parents knew, like, why didn't they try to protect me and whatever? So don't you think that there's a place for that without feeling so much like attack on it?
Yeah, I think that the answer to it is to punish the person who's doing it. But of course, we're not in a position to do that in certain states because the law allows them to do it. But that would be a better way to handle the situation, other than creating the massive amount of hate that's created by making it the norm in a lot of these situations. And I'm not saying that happens with everybody, but if one teacher does that, or 100 teachers in New York do that, that's still ridiculous, low on the scale. But one is too many. I get that.
Yeah.
Because look at me. I'm the guy. One person walks into school and shoots one kid. I think that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Right.
So I got to be consistent on that argument. And that you're right. It's good to talk about it. I just can't stand it when it's portrayed as it's happening everywhere, because I have 3 children that are all in grade school. 2 of them are about to be out of high school soon. And I talk to these kids constantly, and I have great relationships with my daughters. There's never been a peep about trans talk in Massachusetts in their school by any.
That is, well, see, now I understand why you feel like it doesn't happen, because if there was going to be talk, it probably would be in Massachusetts, because
like there'd be even like a smidge. But okay, I get it. It's 3 or 4 schools as they've gone up the chain. So I mean, I just have to use the process of elimination and think, if there's 1 million teachers in the United States, how many are doing it? Maybe 400 or 500. What is that, like?
But it's not happening in our school. But we've noticed that it's happened in schools around us.
I feel like those teachers should immediately be removed from their situation. That's my opinion. And I think we talked about, and I think they should be removed, and maybe that would stop others from fucking doing it.
I get, but you and I are close we're close in generation. I think you're Gen X and I'm like Xennial, like half in Gen X and half not in Gen X. But I get why they're doing it, right? They want to protect the kids, and like you were talking about in the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, whatever, it was really scary to come out. It was really scary to talk about. You did have to be in fear of kind of telling your parents. Like it wasn't, it just, you couldn't talk about it. And so
No,
I
it's
get,
social suicide.
yeah,
Literally, forget it. Your life's fucking
right,
over.
sure. And so I get why they are freaking out and putting all of these things in place, but we've had it so good for so long now. Like, there's literally nothing that we can do. You know what I mean? Like, we have, I get the only thing that the transgenders like can't do is play in sports and come in our bathrooms. But hey, dude, like, I can't go in my bathroom either. So, whatever. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
just,
yeah,
you can dress however you want. You
yeah.
can do whatever you want with
Yeah.
your
So you're
body when
saying,
you're
like,
an adult.
when you say, are you talking about like gay people and trans people who want legislation to be made in their favor? Is that what you're talking about? Like pushing in people's
Well,
favor?
I mean, I don't really see that gay people need legislation to be pushed in our favor
Yeah,
anymore. Trans people, they want their legislation pushed in their favor.
right. They
And I'm
do.
like, yo, too much legislation.
It
Like,
is. Like I just said to you, they shouldn't be in sports. I think that there should be, if the bathroom thing is such a fucking issue, there should be male, female, and one for whoever wants to go in there.
yeah,
Family.
those are the ones
I'm
I
all
find.
about family bathrooms.
Family
Yeah.
bathroom.
There's
Not
family
e- not
bathrooms
even
in the
just-
mall I ever went to. They
Not
should-
even just for, the transgender community, but for single parents, for special
Yeah,
needs. Like,
right.
I think there needs to be multiple family bathrooms in every establishment. I mean, you see so many stories too, the special needs community where they don't even have, some of these kids still need to be changed on tables, like and the wheelchairs and all this type of stuff. And if you have a single dad with a 5-year-old daughter, you're going to take her into the men's bathroom at 5? Why
Right.
not have, you know what I mean? And you're not going to send her into the women's room by herself. Like, I think
Another great argument was now trans people are going to pretend to be trans and go in and rape girls in the bathroom. You think someone who's literally motivated enough to rape someone wouldn't go in the bathroom because they weren't allowed to go in there, and they would only go in because of a trans rule? If someone's gonna rape
This
someone,
is great. Yeah,
rape
let's
But
let's go.
I do think
Let's go.
eliminate
No.
the goddamn problem and if it's so important and it's going to be such an issue, fine, 3 bathrooms. There's 5 toilets in every bathroom everywhere. Block one off and make it the trans bathroom.
You really don't think that it's a problem for an intact dude to walk into a women's bathroom?
No, I do.
Okay,
I
because
do.
like that's a real fear.
No, I
Like,
do.
okay.
I'm just saying that if someone is willing to rape someone, they're going to rape someone. They don't need, so they're going to spend the first 30 years of their lives saying, I can't rape someone, but now I'm allowed to go in a girl's bathroom, so I'm going to do it.
No, but what I'm saying is that makes it easier.
It
Do
does.
you know what I'm saying?
It
Like,
does.
sure.
There's no
I'm
doubt
sure
about
they
it.
probably did do it.
Sorry,
go ahead.
Yeah. But no, I don't think a man should be in a girl's bathroom. Not at all. Never have. But I guarantee you everyone in this chat probably thinks I do.
Oh, they're fucking around with you right now. Mic drop, Pat. What was that? Mic drop about what? And then you said something else that was kind of the Boston Marathon had a non-binary division.
Good. Isn't that a step in the right direction?
Yeah, that's cool. I
Yeah.
like that. That's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine.
My daughter plays field hockey, the team that won the state championship in her division, boy on the team, dominating. Complete fucking bullshit, in my opinion.
Right.
And I feel bad for my daughter. I don't want my daughter to hate trans people, and she doesn't. I'm like, look, Marin, there are trans people, there are gay people, there are everybody, but I'm telling you right now, that boy should not be playing on that team, and that's how you should feel about it.
Mm-hmm.
As a father, I'm telling her that, and she agrees.
So then that brings me to the other thing that I really wanted to ask you about too, is that, like, do you have to agree with everything? Like, you voted for one party no matter what. Like, okay, so like we voted for Trump. I don't agree with everything that he does.
Yep.
I like stuff that he does. Yep. I don't kind of like the way that he talks sometimes. I'm like, oh man. Also, sometimes he's Daddy Trump. I don't know. Like, you know what I mean? But I just
call him Daddy Trump. So
I love calling him Daddy Trump. Clip it.
I call him Daddy Trump. Right. Because I love him. I voted for the Libertarian Oliver last time. I voted for Joe Biden in 2020. Bad fucking call. He was a horrible president. And within a year and a half, I was very much vocal about how awful he was. Not even talking about like the way his mind went. It was more how he let the border just go out of control. That was a joke. It was horrible. And I voted for Gary Roberts in 2016 because I could not vote for Hillary Clinton after the email scandal. And I think Trump is a fucking retard. I think he's a complete and utter moron. Sorry for saying that word.
No.
My wife told me not to say it because now someone from my work can see me online and say that word. But that's what I think he is. I think he's a complete and utter moron. And I think that he's got millions of morons who support him and tens of millions of smart people who support him. There's no doubt about it. I agree with a lot of right-wing philosophies. I am totally anti-illegal immigration. I think everybody should be taxed exactly the same. I am very much in the camp that every citizen should be allowed to own a gun. But then I say something like, well, why can't they be registered so we know who the fuck has them in case they get lost and somebody takes them? And then everybody calls me a fucking liberal because of that. You know,
But then you always have to give something up, right?
exactly.
In order to vote.
There's got to be a little. I mean, this is why I would love an independent to run with and be, have a chance. It's never going to happen. It's just never. I mean, you get 70 million people to vote for Joe Biden and 70 million people to vote for Donald Trump. Donald Trump, in my opinion, is fucking retarded. And Biden couldn't even speak a sentence.
Yeah, fair.
That's the best we got.
But
you got to give and take a little bit, right?
But someone said something about generalizations. Judy, you might have said it. I'm not sure, but so then I vote for Trump, right? And then automatically I'm against gay people. Like, I don't want there to be gay marriage. I don't want gay people to be able to adopt. And it's like, but you have to take a chance on something, and you have to pick your bottom line of what you're voting for.
Yep.
And sometimes you have to go against your morals, or not morals, but
absolutely.
like what you believe. Yeah, morals, fine.
Yeah. Like I believe I did that in 2020, or 16. The way Hillary handled her little issue, like Pete Hegseth is doing, and Benghazi. That actually was a big problem for me. She came off cocky. She came off irresponsible. I certainly wasn't voting for Trump, so I voted for the Libertarian. And of course, that makes my vote, null and void. But at least I stood. And I voted for Biden in 2020. And because I can't stand Donald Trump, I couldn't stand the way he handled the pandemic. But Biden was horrible. I mean, awful president. So
the number one way to make me look at the other candidate more deeply is to be like, you have to vote for me because I'm this. Like, you have to vote for me because I'm a woman. Biden was like, if you're black, you have to vote for me. The minute you do that, now I'm looking into everything the other people say, so that I can actually know. And so even if you had me at that, even if Hillary had me at like, oh, first woman president, yay, the minute you pull hot sauce out of your fucking bag and be like, oh, look, black people vote for me, and you're like, I'm a woman, vote for me, then I'm like, like,
yeah, the identity politics is not good.
Yeah.
And no, I'm with you there. I mean, I get why. I mean, they're going to pull any punch they can to get elected.
Yeah.
Anything. They're going to say whatever they have to say. And if someone on their team says, hey, look, really push the woman thing, they're going to say it. But yeah, I agree with you. It's annoying.
Yeah, that's the other one.
Do you think we will ever get away from identity politics?
No.
You don't think so?
No, not in our lifetimes.
Oh.
I don't think so.
You think it's going to get worse?
I think it's worse.
Yeah.
I mean, look how much this country, the hate between left and right now.
It's bad.
I know the internet is in the media because the media is so huge now and everyone can watch whatever they want to watch. But when you guys were kids, do you remember any of this?
No.
It was never like this.
No.
And now it really is. And I do agree with you guys. I have friends that voted for Trump, and I'm fine with that. The people that go after them for that, they can't think on their own. They're the people that I like to make fun of. I'm like, you're blasting a guy for voting for who they voted for? Like, what fucking country are we living in here?
Yeah.
That's the one thing you should be able to do and never hear anything about it unless it's in fun, like what we do on these podcasts and make fun of people.
And it's always difficult to hear when someone's like, well, how fucking stupid could you be to vote for somebody because of that? Well, that is the most important issue that they personally are feeling. Like when people were talking about
Yeah.
groceries and inflation or the border states living on the border and then this trans issue and the woke ideologies in schools and all of this type of stuff and whatever, like to be criticized for saying, you know what, this is the number one thing that's affecting me right now. I need to think about that first. And the way that either side, whether you voted right or left, like the way that this is going and it's going to continue to go this way, I don't agree with that. Or I don't agree with the dramatic shift that's going to happen if the other party gets, elected in or whatever. And that's like you were saying, that's the beauty of this country is that we each have those individual things that we look at and say, you know what, this is our number one. So we can't look past that. And it was something, we heard pretty much through the entire election. And even now with Trump being elected is that we're going to lose our marriage. We've been married for almost 13 years, and I'm like, do I want to lose my marriage? Of course I don't want to lose my marriage. But Gara and I had extensive conversations about our son comes first. And if we need to make a choice between us as adults and what we feel like is more protection for our son, we will always choose our son.
Yeah.
So if that was something that ever happened where we would lose our marriage because of this rights, this right shift that's going on, you know what I mean?
Yep.
I would be devastated.
But
13 years.
For your son.
But for the sake of my son, I will always do what's best for my son. And so to hear that people, friends, family, colleagues, social groups that, how the fuck could you do that? You see people, you really see people. And it's really sad that we've gotten to that point where, and then both sides scream like, we're a family, we're a unit, we're in this together, we can all make changes. And I'm like, but we can't. Because if I don't agree with you,
I don't see Trump like that. I mean, I don't think Trump hates gay people.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys really think that that's where we're headed, to where gay marriage is going to be outlawed?
I was more worried than
I'm not really worried about it.
But it
Wouldn't the Supreme Court have to make a ruling on that?
Yeah, and I really don't think that they're going to. But I mean, you never know. I wasn't a big fan of the whole Roe v. Wade.
Being overturned.
Now, like, okay, fine, it's with the states.
Right.
Like, I kind of hope the states don't go crazy with it. But also,
I mean, half and half now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
and then you hear those stories too, and it's like it's devastating, and I don't think anybody gets it right. And I think that that's what everybody's searching for. They're searching for what is right. And whenever you say, well, I'm doing this because this is right, what does that mean?
Yeah.
The
abortion thing it's a no-win for everybody. Like, I think my opinion on abortion is you should be able to do whatever you want up until 20 weeks. And after that, I don't think you have a choice anymore, because that baby's viable at 22 or 23. And then that thing will survive if it is born after that.
Yeah.
And before
with a lot of help.
Yeah. 22, 23 is about the limit. I have extensive knowledge in this only because my wife is a labor and delivery nurse, and we talk about this all the time. And the people that there's no such thing as a third trimester abortion. All right. Yeah. It doesn't fucking happen unless the mother is going to die. And even now in some states, that can't even happen. The mother will die, because there are laws that say you cannot abort a fetus, even if the fetus is going to die. When no matter what, at birth, you still cannot abort it. So the mother and the fetus will then die. That's why these laws are so stupid. But I feel like that's a happy medium. 20 weeks up until then. After that, no. I feel like you said, there's got to be a little give and take. No one's ever going to agree on this. I certainly understand everybody who thinks it's murder. I get it. I totally get it. But I also understand a woman saying, you know what? This isn't for me. This thing isn't a human yet. I haven't met it. I'm never going to be upset after it's gone. It's not like a family member that you lose. It's just not the same.
I don't know, dude. I don't know about that. I don't know about that.
And maybe not. Maybe some women who have miscarried. I mean, one out of every 3 babies is miscarried. Do we have funerals for them? We don't. And people move on. But
okay.
you know,
okay.
come on, let's go. Let's
I
talk about
definitely
it.
don't. I don't think that there's a woman out there that doesn't think about, or maybe there's, I would say that that's not the norm. I would call it what you just said, I would say is not the norm.
In terms of
Which part?
We're just moving on, and like they're like, we don't, you know what I mean? You're not,
I think what I will say is I think that there is some truth in that, only because when we've talked about this before, baby. When people experience trauma, they all experience trauma differently, and they all process trauma differently.
Yeah, sure.
So we can tell ourselves after trauma that we're fine. So and this, an abortion, traumatic, it's a traumatic event because of how it needs to be performed, whether it's under the knife, whether it's the pills, all this type of stuff. Like, it is a physical trauma that happens inside of the woman. We can tell ourselves that we're fine, and we can act like we're fine, but we all carry things in our body that we don't work through, that we don't process. So I believe that there are some women that can walk away feeling fine, acting fine, moving on, as Pat said. But I also think, babe, when it comes to what you're saying, I think that we hold on to that trauma, so it shows up in different ways. So maybe it's,
I'm not saying that women can't compartmentalize.
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
There are some women that
I'm
can
saying.
compartmentalize.
I don't think
Yes, for sure.
Came across correctly. I think it was more like, if your 5-year-old kid dies versus having an abortion, what's going to affect you more? That's kind of, because people love to say, like, oh, even though that you were only 2 weeks pregnant, it's still a human in there, and it's just not the same, in my opinion. So I look at it that way, as people like to say it's murdering. If your child is murdered, your life is over. You're devastated for the rest of your life. And if a woman has an abortion, everybody just goes on with their day. That woman might have problems dealing with it, no doubt about it, but it's not the same. And it's, again, you're right, it's their choice. That's why I think it should be their choice, and they should
I agree with you on that.
Fully aware that it might affect them later on down the line.
I agree with you on that. I think that it's absolutely a choice on what you choose to do with your body. I believe that we should all have the right to choose that. I wish that there was more support. I wish that it wasn't just have a quick conversation, have the procedure, no follow-up after, no counseling after, because then that forces women to just kind of go back into the world and hope that everything, works out. But then you hear stories, and again, these are not my own stories. These are stories that we've heard, news stories that we've heard, documentaries that we've watched, all these type of things or whatever. Like, you see these women make choices in their life, and they can't figure out why they made the choices in their life to put themselves in situations. And when you do the deep work and you figure it out, one root could be because of what she experienced. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I think that if there was more support after, it's the same way with women in postpartum. It's like, you have the support when you're first pregnant. You have the support kind of when you're pregnant. You have the support during birth, if you go to a hospital or at home, whatever. And then afterwards, there's no postpartum support. Where's the postpartum support? The hardest part for most women is the postpartum support. So if you want to give support to women, then give fucking support to women in all aspects of it. I just feel like sometimes they pick and choose the parts that fit a narrative, but don't give the entire story.
Yeah, all right, that's fair.
Yeah, we're not disagreeing. I think we're just kind of trying to find common ground. So then, would you say this is kind of cool? Then Jeremy did it. But can we agree that it is terminating a living thing?
Yes, it is, no doubt about it. I said when people say it's murdering, I get it. I get it. I never said it wasn't, and I never will say it isn't. And when my wife was pregnant, I would have, if she said I want to get an abortion, I would have been devastated, because I saw that thing moving around in her belly. Of course that was later on, but it should be a choice. And I hate.
Yeah, I get it. I feel the
So
same
many
way.
politicians out there that are so anti-abortion knocked up some mistress and then had her get a fucking abortion. You know, that's what I hate the people on both sides that, oh, the morals, you know, I mean, yeah, if I'm pro-life, pro-choice, people tell me, some of them in this chat, that I have no morals because I'm like that. But then in the same sentence, they're devout Christians. And if they want to really be devout Christians, and they're saying that you two should be put to death. Is that a fact or is that not a fact?
Wait, that's in the Bible?
It's in the fucking Bible.
That we should be put to death?
Testament. A man who lays with another man shall be put to death, for they are an abomination. It's Leviticus. Look it up. You don't think I would?
Dude, no, I'm not. Look, I just thought it. I didn't know the last part. I just heard the abomination part.
It shall be put to death. If you wanted to, of course, now the New Testament, because they had to change it because the Old Testament was so fucking crazy. That's why I think it's all man-made. Because it was ludicrous. You know, the first guys who wrote the first book, it was so ridiculous they had to change the second. And of course, I'm sure there'll be a million people in the chat saying, no, that's not why they changed it. Well, that's what it says in the Bible.
Hold on, we got what's up?
Look it up.
That's up.
Yo, get this fucking bum off. Who is this guy? Get this fucking guy off.
Yeah.
This fucking jerk off.
Welcome to the party, Jay.
I'm not gonna lie. I just walked in the house and I saw you alive. I'm not gonna lie. Pat was kind of annoying in the beginning, but you know what? Even Sevy said in the beginning, it's good to have different opinions, even if you have some the same, some different. It's much appreciated, and he comes from a good place. I'm going to give him that. Grant, not so much. Pat, yes.
You want to know something?
Here we go.
There is nobody that you know that supports police officers more than me. Nobody, you know. Yes. I got you guys 100% all the way.
Well, I know you do, and we really appreciate it, especially these trying times.
It's the worst job in the world.
And then, no, it's all good. It's all good. I just wanted to break it up a little bit in case you need a little break from talking, Pat. So there you go. I'll talk to you guys.
Thanks, Chad. Love you. This thing's gonna make noise. Oh,
I love him.
Did we say it? Did it work? Good. Oh my god, it might work twice.
He's such a good dude.
I love cops. You know who doesn't love cops? And I know Sevon's watching this right now. You, Sevon, because you fucking supported the guys who beat the shit out of them on January 6th. Oh, but it was only a couple of them. Watch the YouTube videos, you dope. There's fucking hundreds of them beating on cops. They all got pardoned, and you fucking said you agreed with it. Really? Come on, dude.
We were doing so good having bipartisan conversation, and then this just went all the way to. But no, we could talk about this because I want to know what I want to talk about this too. I meant to have this conversation when Sousa came on, and we just got sidetracked. But I didn't like the Capitol thing either when I watched it because I watched it on TV when it happened, and I was like, "Holy shit!" And my initial reaction was just like, fuck, I'm like, that's scary to watch. Yeah. Right. And cops were getting hurt and people were getting hurt.
Hit with bats, kicked in the head, squished in the doors. I mean, I've seen some of the videos you haven't seen because my buddy's a police officer, and there are videos that are not shown to the general public. And it's not pretty. And of course it wasn't everybody there. But
I just want to, like, if you walk into a place where you're not supposed to be, how is that not like, I really don't I really don't understand. I want to understand. I've watched as much as I could about both sides arguing about it, but I don't know how that's okay. Like, and I don't think that the riots that happened after George Floyd were okay.
Those people are there are hundreds of them in prison too. And there should be hundreds more.
Yeah, for sure. But I just still don't understand how that was okay too. Like, I don't feel like that was okay either.
Liberals will tell you, oh, there was, the killing of black people. So you can go smash stores up and be an asshole. And then, of course, because it was Trump sitting on his ass watching that happen at the White House and never did anything for a couple of hours, couldn't even send out a tweet. The right wingers are going to defend it. This is the identity politics.
But wait, do you think that Trump could have actually stopped that? I don't even. even if he sent out a tweet, do you think that they would have been like, "Oh, Trump said don't do it, so
No,
I'm not
not
going
at
to
the
do it"?
moment. But let me ask you this. How did that fucking happen? It happened because he claimed the election was stolen for months, and he pissed off millions of uneducated morons who couldn't simply read and realize that it wasn't stolen. These people actually thought that the election was stolen. They thought that fake ballots in the millions and millions and millions and hundreds of thousands of people were all involved in this coup to steal the election from him. He convinced these people of that. So all of January 6th is on him, because the only reason they were there is because he called them there to do his speech. He didn't tell them to bust down the doors. He didn't tell them any of that, but they were already pissed off when they got there. And that's what happens when you have a lunatic in control spewing fake news. That's why he got kicked off of Twitter. I mean, do I agree with it? No, but it was a private owned business, so they can do whatever the fuck they want.
But doesn't this come back to personal responsibility? Just because somebody fucking tells me or insinuates some shit and then I just go do it?
Oh, I'm not defending them. They're all idiots. But,
okay.
But that's what we're dealing with, unfortunately, with you have 300 million people in this country. There's going to be a lot of wackos. And unfortunately, 2,000 of them were down there that day. Well, 20,000 of them, only 2,000 of them went crazy. And only a couple of hundred of them were violent. The rest of them walked in thinking it was funny. But listen, can you imagine if that was the other way around? Sevy'd still be doing shows about it, laughing about all of them getting arrested and put in prison. And that's the way it works. I get that, left and right. But I don't know how you can look at what happened that day and think, oh, it was no big deal. I just don't get that, no matter what side you're on. I didn't look at the Summer of Love and think that was okay. That was a joke, what those people did to
Summer of Love?
Yeah.
Help me out.
The Black Lives Matter riots.
Oh, that's what it's called?
Summer of Love.
Oh, shit. Okay. Clock, it was stolen. I'm inclined to agree that it was stolen.
So let me ask you a question.
Bro, did you see the chart?
Okay. So do you
Bring back, baby.
Let's go. Let's go. Go ahead.
All right. So of course it was all the mail-in ballots, right?
I mean, all I saw was the number of people that voted for Biden that year, the discrepancy, and then how many people. So what? That many people just stayed home? It was like
Kamala got 75 million votes and Biden got 81. You don't think after the 4 years Biden had that people said, fuck this, I'm not voting for this bitch?
So you just think they didn't vote at all?
Absolutely.
Is what you're saying?
Absolutely, because I know a million Democrats who would be like, there's no way I vote for Trump, but I can't vote for this moron, because people might have supported Biden. They didn't like Kamala. Kamala was even less likable than Biden.
That's fair.
But listen,
there was a lot of mail-in shit that year, though.
All right, so Trump,
there's a lot of mail-in shit.
Right? Trump tweets, "Stop the count." Right? Do you even know that most of the states in the United States of America weren't even legally allowed to start counting mail-in ballots until the polls were closed? Do you know how many millions of mail-in ballots there were to be counted? It was ridiculous. Some states changed the laws, some did not.
So that means we missed all the rest of the fucked up mail-in ballots because he said stop the.
Once the machine vote stopped in Pennsylvania, then they had to count 2.5 million mail-in votes. Do you know how long that was going to take? And we all know that the people who stayed home and voted by mail were most likely Democrats, because they were the ones who were afraid of the pandemic. So that's where all the mail-in votes were.
Weren't half of them like dead though?
No. All right, there you go. Complete utter bullshit.
I'm telling you.
Oh my
God. No.
They're not dead.
They died in like 1896.
Just read up on voter fraud. It was not fuck. We had a collapse of a nation during the pandemic, whether it was Trump's fault or not. I mean, the unemployment rate was almost 30%. I mean, millions of people lost their jobs. He wasn't getting reelected. He wasn't. And he was the one who pushed the fucking warp speed vaccine. It was him.
Yeah, I know. I know. That I'm aware of.
He
Yes.
stood up there and said, we're going to get this vaccine out in 6 months. And Fauci, that moron, is rolling his eyes behind him because he knows it takes years to literally get a vaccine approved. And we got a vaccine somehow approved in 6 months. Who do you think had their hand in that one the most? So if this vaccine is causing injuries, which I'm certainly not going to say it's not. I know Sevi likes to think millions are dying because of it. Maybe that's true. Well, the reason that probably is because it was pushed through. So who do we blame on that? Who was in command? Who was the president of the United States? Who still to this day takes credit for the vaccine? That was Trump. So I don't know how you think he was ever going to get reelected. It wasn't stolen.
Okay.
Was
Sure.
it?
We'll agree to disagree on that one.
How many hundreds of thousands of people would have to be involved to pull something like that off? And none of them have said anything since. They all kept their mouths shut.
Dude,
Dude,
you don't think? Oh my gosh, you don't think that they could possibly have it? Would it even take hundreds of thousands of people for mail-ins
to pull off how many states would they have to do it in? I mean, all these ballots are looked at. They're all looked at, and they have to be processed before they're counted. I know nobody believes that, but it's true. They all sit down,
okay,
and there's Democrats, Republicans, and independents all appointed to open these fucking things up and match the signatures and make sure they're legitimate or not. Can voter fraud happen? Of course it can. Yeah, but I don't think it's. No, Mike McCaskey's correct. Warp Speed didn't force anyone to take it. I am very much anti mandates. That's a complete and utter joke. I feel terrible for people like Ken, who lost his job because he refused to take the vaccine. Kenny, my devout Christian buddy, who wants me to be saved every day.
That's
anyone who lost their job because of that. That's fucking terrible. You take the vaccine. It's your turn. Trump did not mandate it, and Biden did. So
Did you see that there's like a shortage of teachers going on right now, and they're trying to find teachers, but they will not hire the teachers back that didn't take the shots.
Yeah, bullshit.
Oh, and there's like 3,500 of them or whatever.
Like now, even now, the COVID vaccine was bullshit. It didn't even work. I got the shot. I got it. I never got boosted, and I got COVID 3 times. And when I got sick, I got fucking sick. COVID was really hurt me.
It's brutal.
And
I wasn't gonna do it.
Yeah.
And then my whole family was like, and
we weren't.
I don't even like the fucking flu shot. I haven't gotten the flu shot since I was in the army.
I don't get a lot of these shots either. I just never got the flu shot. I think
my kid never got it.
I got the flu.
Our son got the flu shot once. He was very, very little.
And never
that
again.
That was it. And the last time I got the flu shot was when I was pregnant, because my doctor scared the shit out of me and was like, well, you're carrying a baby, and if you get sick and you get the flu, you could kill your baby. And I'm like, we've tried for 2 years to have this baby. We'll do stick it in my arm. Like, I will do anything. And then I ended up getting the fucking flu anyways. So.
All right. Great story here. And this is where I got to give Sevon credit. You just said you got pressured.
Clip this. Who's clipping? Dens, clip this.
Yeah, Bernie. I see you, Bernie.
You got pressured from your doctor, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was always, doctors don't do that. They don't make any money. I was pulling the same shit I always pull, where I'm probably wrong half the time. And I always said that. I was like, doctors don't do this. I went to the doctors like 6 months ago, and I gained a little weight. I was like 205 pounds. But I usually.
By the way, the whole chat has been asking for a little while for you to take your shirt off. You don't have to.
So I'm like, normal weight for me is like 190. I'm like 5'7", but I'm always been wider. So 190 is a good weight for me. My doctor wanted to put me on Ozempic because I was like 5 pounds overweight.
Yeah, no, bro.
Well, they are pushing Ozempic
they want that.
Crazy.
And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? I'm like, why wouldn't you tell me? And I said this to her, and I love her, but I go, why wouldn't you just tell me to stop being a fat bastard and stop eating steak and cheese and pizza every night and maybe work out a little bit more? I was always working out, but maybe, I'm 50 now. Tone the diet down. And I said to her, I didn't ask her, she got paid for it, but I said, no, I don't want the Ozempic. And then she said, well, there's another one
Yep.
She's like that, because you're close to pre-diabetic because you're on the obese scale because the obese scale is so ridiculous.
That
The
shit's
BMI.
that's
Yep.
stupid. Yeah.
Listen, I've been obese since I was 12. So
Exactly.
Me too.
And,
Me too.
and I left that doctor's appointment and I DM'd Sevan. I was like, you were right, dude. These fucking doctors, no doubt about it, they must be getting something because I'm not fat and I've been fit my whole life. And I come in at 205 and she's like, yeah. And she basically said, everybody's on it. And I'm like, that is not what a doctor should be saying.
no.
Not at all.
No.
So
No.
now I'm in the process of trying to find a new one.
But
Art.
sadly, most doctors are like that.
Yeah,
It's go through the process of pharmaceuticals more than diet and exercise.
Right.
And talk about that. Like when I would go to the doctor, I asked for like blood work and I asked for a gut test because like I've got some stuff going on. And she was like, you don't need any of that stuff. And I'm like, but that's going to help get results. And then I can kind of figure out from there. And she's like, well, you can take this, whatever this drug was or whatever, it'll help you. And I'm like, I'm not trying to put a bunch of meds in my mouth. You know what I'm saying? Like, but they do that. They do push that more than not. And the Ozempic is the big one. I've heard a lot from clients, friends of clients that are like, oh, I'm just going to take Ozempic because it gets me right result faster. But again, it goes back to what I was saying before. If you want to offer something like this, then offer the full truth. It's not just taking the weight off. It's decreasing the muscle mass. It's fucking up the bones. It's fucking up the immune system. It's changing the hormones. It's doing all of those things. So if you want to sell this and you want to give this as a, get out of jail free card and you're going to, go collect your $200 faster than everybody else or whatever, then just tell the whole fucking truth. And it goes back to the whole abortion thing too. Like just tell the truth. Just have the entire conversation before you make the decision versus just picking apart the little things that like help the narrative. That's the part that just irks the fuck out of me. Like say the whole thing.
And this woman is fit. She runs marathons. I couldn't believe she said it to me. She's like, yeah. She's like, everybody is on it. And I'm like, oh my God. Ozempic has its place. If you're literally obese and you want to change, you want to turn it around, I'm fine with that. People take steroids to work out. How many of them in our little world here of CrossFit are doing performance enhancing drugs? Whatever you want to do is fine.
Oh
but
shit! He threw out the
never be pushing that shit on somebody that doesn't need it. And
yeah,
in terms of what my doctor did, I couldn't fucking believe it.
Perry McCockner, yes, we've been blessed. The base show is here, and so is Outside the Box. We're blessed.
He's got to figure out who is who.
Yeah.
Jake and Young don't use their real names no more.
What do you think? Oh shoot, no, I can't do it. But is it CK Kevin? I think it was CK Kevin asked.
Find it.
Oh yeah, this. I like how libs were against the vaccine when Trump was in office and then changed their tune afterwards.
Yep.
How do you feel about that when it comes to Tesla? Because libs were crazy for Tesla. That was their whole way that we were gonna like cure the environment, and now they're burning the shit in parking lots.
Yeah, they're fucking idiots. Does it surprise you?
No.
That there's psychos on the left who would love Elon Musk, and then all of a sudden he goes and works for Donald Trump, and now they hate him. I mean, here's the thing. If I was one of the government workers that just got blanket fired, I could see them getting mad. But anyone else that had nothing to do with it, I mean, get a life. Like, what? I don't get it.
I have a question for you. So, this whole idea that Trump came in and fired all these people, no notice, whatever. But then the facts come out that that's happened before under different presidents.
Clinton.
So it's not uncommon that people lose their jobs for whatever reason, pay cuts, trying to save money, they're not doing their job, whatever they want to decide is the reason for people to lose their jobs, they get fired. Like every other job in this entire world. You could be doing everything right that you think your boss would come in and say, listen, we're trying to make cuts. You're too expensive for this business. I've got someone that I can pay for twice as less than I have to pay you. We don't need you anymore, with no other reason than that.
Yep.
Do you think that the transparency that's being shown through the White House right now is actually more of a detriment to them than anything? Because if all of this is true, if deportations happen under every president, if financial shit happens under every president, and mismanaging of money and losing money, and this money's supposed to go here and whatever, do you think the transparency of them being so upfront with everything that's going on, do you think it's hurting them?
Yes, and here's why. So when Elon Musk, the Doge is a great idea. It makes all the sense in the world, right? But when you fire, and I think it's like 100,000 people as of now,
Mm-hmm.
and you go stand on stage with a chainsaw and you fucking rev it up like, yeah, we're fucking cutting, and you make it like it's a big joke that you just literally possibly ruined families, people that had jobs, mortgages, houses. Now they're all gone. You make a mockery of it. That's when it becomes a detriment. There's no doubt people needed to be fired. If you're gonna make it a joke, then
Where was the joke though?
Just the way he did. I mean, they're on stage.
The way he did it.
Just the way, yeah. He made it sound like it was funny that they just fired 100,000 people.
Okay.
So if you guys got fired and you look up there and you see this guy up there standing there with a chainsaw like it's a big fucking joke, you're gonna piss a lot of people off, especially when you fire people like Colleen just said. I don't know how Clinton did it. I know Clinton and Gingrich did balance the budget, though. We're not going to be anywhere near that. So you could fire these 100,000 people, and we already know that it's not even putting a fucking small dent, because Doge went from $2 trillion we're going to save to now it might only save 165 billion. So firing all these people really isn't going to do much. The real problem is the military is $1 trillion budget, and that's where you need to save, because it's ridiculous that we're $1 trillion and the next 10 countries on the list behind us don't even add up to that. But it is a detriment the way they're handling it, Colleen. It's the way Trump goes about, the way he says things. It's always got to be a win. It's always got to be fucking Biden sucks. It's always got to be the liberals suck. If he just did it a little bit differently, he wouldn't get as much blowback, I think. But that's just the way he is now.
Yeah, I mean, he promised those first 100 days, and he went in there just gangbusters and.
Yeah. Did you have to do it in 100 days, though? Couldn't you? I mean, these are Americans, and it's all about jobs, right? Like, couldn't you say to each department head of all these companies, hey, look, I need you to find the waste and get rid of it. And the people that are productive assets for this government, we want to keep. And you could have done it that way, and it might have taken 6 months and not three. But
so
the way
you're
they did
saying the shock of it, let's just
they
throw it
wanted
up in the air.
They wanted the shiny object, but it blew back on them. And the immigration, great. I wish he built the damn wall. I love making fun of him. He didn't. It was one of his promises, and he didn't do it. He had control of the House and the Senate. He didn't build the wall. He didn't revamp healthcare, and he didn't balance the budget. Those were the three promises from 2016. At least now he's deported these people, because if you're here illegally, there's laws. And I hate that Massachusetts is a sanctuary state, and so is New York City. I'm glad he did that. But the terrorists, the way he did it, again, this is what happens when you have an emotional retard in charge. Instead of doing it correctly and sitting all these other countries down and saying, hey, look, we need to equal the trade. Let's do this right. Instead, he just threatens everybody, and it fucking blows right back in our faces. And now someone like me, who was going to put an irrigation system in my golf course for $2.1 million, currently that cost is $3.6 million, because everything comes from China. So it is affecting real Americans right now. And
what did you
be like that?
What did you think about the point that everybody lost their minds when he did the whole tariffs, right? And the stock market fell. And then everybody was saying well, he knew that he did it on purpose so that all his friends could get richer and whatever. My stance is, if you know the game, play the game.
Yeah.
We bought.
Player. Don't hate the player.
Yeah, we bought.
Yeah, I mean, I know a lot of people hate Nancy Pelosi because they think she made all her money in the stock market with her husband. Do you think that people in power should be able to trade publicly?
Sure.
That's the question. So if you are,
I do, but if it's like an insider trading shit, then no, I'm not okay with that.
But let's face it, Trump could have told any one of his buddies,
yeah,
hey, in 3 days, I'm cutting these fuckers back. So buy whatever the hell you want right now. And then, of course, he's so stupid. He's standing in the fucking Oval Office talking to the CEO of Charles Schwab going, you just made $2 billion. And then he said to the other guy, I don't know who the other guy was, how much did you make? $1 billion? And when he does stuff like that, it doesn't help him with the
No, it doesn't.
And I know he doesn't give a fuck because he's got a loyal contingent. They'll vote for him. Like he said, he could shoot somebody in the middle of Fifth Avenue and fucking people will still vote for that moron. And they will. They totally will.
I mean, there are some people out there we wouldn't. Like I
wouldn't either, but there are people that will.
I get that.
So when
There's
it,
groupies.
so when it comes to the tariffs, you're saying that it needed to be a sit down conversation, allow it to take some time, you know, that kind of thing. Do you think that we're past that? Do you think any, and there's no little ounce of anything that you feel that because of how we've allowed other countries to do what they do and take from us and all this type of stuff, like you don't feel like there's any sort of meeting, like let's go. Like with some of them, maybe not all of them, but some of them, it was like it was always going to be a hard deal to make. So he had to get a little bit more like, this is what I'm offering you, and if you don't take it, then that's it.
It didn't have to be like that. I mean, all he had to do is sit down with them. He didn't have to make it public. And let's face it, he was never paying off the fucking deficit with tariffs. That's such bullshit. But what he could have done is instead of threatening Canada, Mexico, by the way, how about this one? And Sevan knows this. He goes on at the podium and rips apart the moron, whoever the moron was, who made the Canada-Mexico trade deal in 2018. It was fucking him who made the Mexico-Canada trade deal in 2018. And there's video of him talking about how great of a deal it was. So this is what he is. And he says shit like that, and his followers all think, oh yeah, who was the idiot who made that trade deal? It was Trump. And that was the deal we made in 2018. And that was a good deal at the time. So he could have sat down with Canada, Mexico, China, and all these people and said, hey, look, this isn't fair. You need us to buy shit from you because we buy from so much stuff from China. But instead it became a war. And now real Americans are being hurt right now because of it. So like you said, it could have been done a little bit better, and it still can be done in the future. And it probably will. China and the United States will figure it out because they have
one way or another. Yeah, they have to. Yeah.
But is that before or after I signed the contract for my new irrigation system? It's going to cost my members another $1.5 million. You know, it didn't have to be like that. And you see what Amazon's doing right now?
No.
Yeah. I heard about that.
I didn't say it.
So
they're putting like so next to the products, next to the price, right? They're putting an increase. Is that what they're doing?
They're putting a little thing next to it that says this is what the price would have been if it wasn't for the tariffs.
Yeah, they're putting something there.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
Which surprises me because wasn't he in the fucking Oval Office on day one?
He was chilling.
Didn't he give Trump like millions of dollars?
Yeah, so he was at the inauguration just
right. So whatever.
Yeah, but is it him or is it the companies that use Amazon to sell their products?
Yeah, I don't know, but he was.
You know what I mean? Like, because if Bezos obviously probably isn't paying that much attention to the everyday stuff, like, but those companies, like, those are their companies.
Bezos pulled back on that after Daddy yelled at him.
Right? He just says, "We weep for your club members," right? But this is happening to Americans everywhere. That's just my example. So are we pro-American or we say, fuck the citizens? Hey, if you got to pay more, it's okay because Trump fucked it up and we love Trump. That's not the attitude you should have. If you're a Republican right now, you should say, he totally botched this. He fucked it up. He did. It's a fact. It's not like, oh, well, no, he blew it. Just like he did in 2018 with the farmers, where we had to bail them out because he had a trade war with China and nobody bought all the soy from our farmers, and we had to bail them out to the tune of $30 billion.
Do you really think he's going to let it go that long? You don't think he learned anything from 2018?
Oh no, I think it's just he's got to wait till it doesn't look like he gave up. He lost.
Yeah,
that's what it's all about with him. It's about the win and the loss, and he has to be able to get up there and say, I was the smartest. I was the greatest. It worked. It worked. No matter what, that's what he has to say. Even if it's a colossal failure, he's going to say it so that his people believe it. And, maybe a couple months from now, China and the U.S. will have a deal and this will all go away.
Yeah.
I hope.
I mean, you don't want to see it fail, right? Like, you didn't.
No, it's like the people that want.
If you're cheering for him to fucking fail, then you're cheering.
I have
Yeah.
friends that are like, "Oh, the market went down today. That's fucking funny." I'm like, "Are you fucking crazy? You have money in the
Not
market?
funny.
You have a job? You have a 401k? No, this is not good."
Oh man, what else?
Well, I wanted to ask you
I was
because
gonna.
you've said it a couple times that if he didn't do so, if he didn't um be so public with certain things, like maybe it would have been able to be resolved in a more diplomatic way, or without like the lavish and all this type of stuff. I know I asked you if you felt like it was hurting him that they're so transparent, but do you feel like that the transparency was being missed by Americans, where they were like, so many things are happening with previous presidents, and then all of a sudden we kind of have to deal with everything that happens behind closed doors? It's almost like you walk into a room and you throw a bunch of glitter in the air, and then you walk out and everybody walks in, and we're trying to pick up all the pieces. So
I
do
get it.
you think it's good that they're
I
being a
like
little bit more?
I like transparency, but
Mhm.
the way remember, this administration was the administration for 4 years in 2016 to 2020. So they were part of all this nonsense that used to go on that they're claiming they're saving right now. And the way they're doing it is pissing off the left. If they just came in and said, "Hey, you know what, guys? There's going to be a lot of people that lose their jobs in government. We really need to get the spending under control, and we're gonna make sure that people that are doing a good job keep their jobs, and we're gonna make sure that the people that are not doing a fucking thing and the waste goes away. And some good people might lose their jobs too." Do you think that he would have got blowback on that? Sure, a little bit. But if he was literally trying to save the government money by doing things like that, I think he would have been lauded for it. And by the
He
CNN,
did that with the tariffs. He came in and said he was like, "Hey guys, this is gonna be tough.
yeah,
We're gonna like it's gonna suck for a little while, but it's gonna be okay, and it's gonna be better for the country."
yeah,
And
yeah,
like,
he did that. And then he went wild with turning them on, turning them off, turning them on, turning them off. He did it 4 times.
I
So,
agree with this
you
too.
know,
I disagree. The left would resist no matter what. And just like,
some
hey, just like Republicans, there are some Republicans out there that if like Sevon, that if Trump shot someone in the street, he would still vote for him.
right.
But there are also some liberals that no matter what Trump does, he could put $1 million fucking dollars in their bank account like that, and they would still be like, fuck him, hang him from a tree, shoot him somewhere.
There are millions of them that want him to be assassinated. Do you know
Yeah,
how fucking bad that would be if someone shot this guy?
dude.
It
So
would
bad.
be it would
Yeah.
fucking be a civil
No.
war. It
Yeah.
would be a fucking disaster. And these people hate the guy so much, and I hate him, but my God, if let's be real here, people. I mean, Jesus Christ, you don't if the guy gets shot, it's a bad, bad thing. Thank God that kid missed. Holy fuck.
Dude.
Can
Yeah,
you imagine?
hey, listen, there's people out there that believe that it was a conspiracy and it never happened and no bullet was ever fired and blah blah blah.
Yeah, well, I
So
mean, just, there are also people that thought Biden tried to shoot him, right? Well, Trump's been president for 100 days. Where's the fuck? Have you not done the investigation yet? I mean,
yeah, where is all that stuff?
where's the Epstein files? Are we ever going to get these? Gee, I wonder why those haven't been released yet.
No,
But yeah,
liberals
I
would
totally
do
get it,
anything
right?
for
And what did he say?
He said no, liberals would do anything for $100.
No, he's actually got it wrong. Liberals will give any idiot $100 because they're stupid. Sevon will do anything to take $100. I see it on his show every day when he gets $4.99 from everybody. And I used to be a pretty good contributor to his show. I think I fucking rolled the first year and a half.
Oh, is that how you got your comments pulled up? Was by giving $4.99?
Probably. No, I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. I figured, honestly, I asked somebody in the chat once, I'm like, what does Sevon do for his job? And they're like, idiot, this is his fucking job. And I was like, oh, all right. So I didn't realize that, I didn't realize he had 30,000 subscribers, all these people.
Oh,
I didn't
yeah.
know. I had no idea. So then I started throwing him cash. I saw people would throw him money, and I gave him money all the time. People are like, oh, this fucking Lange guy's loaded. By the way, my name is actually Pat Lange, but everybody calls me.
Oh, is that how you say it? I should have asked you that. Shit.
I've been called Lang since I was like 5 years old. It's just one of those things. I go with it.
The Lange man.
But
I like it. I'll turn it into a
No,
nickname. You
Pat,
watch
Pat
out.
Lang. It's Pat Lang.
His wife took his credit card.
My wife would always be like, "Why do you give money to this guy?" I'm like, "I like his show. I think it's great. I want it to continue." I support small business. That's what I do.
Support small.
Shit, Mike McCaskey, what? Oh my God. All right. Is this the roast portion of the show? Here we
You know
go.
what? If I told Sevan to turn around, he'd let me fucking tuck it right in his thong too. He fucking loves money.
Can't. Look, I barely made it through the first 20 minutes when they started roasting Pat for like, they're like, Pat looks like do you want to scroll back? Some of those were amazing.
Oh,
They did him like Jeremy, and it was kind of
What do I look like?
oh my God, it was
White
so
foot
good.
that a lot.
If you can find it's like legit in the beginning.
No, people gave him a lot of praise.
No, but in the beginning, the first little bit, they gave him some.
Oh, we did the white guy with the goatee. We did that one already.
Oh, hold on. It's who it was, Jake.
Oh, yeah. All right, hold on. I gotta find when Jake got
It was totally. All right, that's fine. If you can find it, great. If not, but whatever. But
Jake likes your chest and your forearms.
Yes.
Oh, that was it.
It wasn't. But we had a fun time trying to schedule this though, because your son was playing baseball, you're his coach, and he got rescheduled, and then my son is playing Little League and his practice got rescheduled. So we made it happen, but it was a hot minute.
Yep.
Oh, there you go. There are all the.
Yeah, Pat is the male version of Sporty Beth. Pat looks like a mini version of Mitchell Hooper.
I do remember when I first started watching Sevan was right around the time Sporty Beth made that like her most famous video where she went off on him, and I watched it, and that made me want to watch. That made me like him even more. I was like, oh, this guy's great. He's fucking talking about girl. She of course took his clips out of context. And
the only thing Pat gets is pussy.
Doesn't
get his pussy.
Doesn't.
Was that Sean?
Yeah.
Sean loves me. Sean, I'm sorry, but religion is man-made, buddy. Don't take it personal.
Oh yeah, we never did get into religion, did we? That would be a fun one.
Whatever floats your boat. Here's the thing. I don't care if you think this fucking phone or this desk is getting you through the day. If you want to worship it, go right ahead. Just don't tell me I have to worship it.
Hey, dude, there was one live event. I mean, you're in literally every chat that has to do like with CrossFit or whatever, but there was a live event. Was it Wadapalooza? I don't know. I can't remember which event it was now, but you came into the chat. It was, and stuff had already been happening. It was the Mission Bell episode. And you came into the chat as things were getting kind of heated in there. And you're like, holy shit, this chat is spicy. And I was like, for Pat Lange to come into a chat and be like, this shit's spicy. I was like, oh my God, I'm sticking around for the chat, yo.
Is that the one? That was like the national broadcast, right? The big
broadcast.
It was a big broadcast.
Yeah. People that I had never seen before going to each other. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, Pat Lange's not in this. He's staying back and watching. I was like
personal insults. That's when it gets a little, fuck you. And, you can't do that shit. I mean, I'm pretty sure they used to boot me out. The wrenches, whoever the wrenches are. I had to ask Sousa to put me back in the show like 3 times. And he was like,
they would just wrench you?
Yeah, they wrenched me.
Every time?
When I got there. Right. I wasn't being rude. It was just, they were like, who is this fucking guy who argues with us all day long? And they were not having it. So somebody booted me. Sousa let me back in. I got booted again. And Sousa or Sevan, one of the two let me back in.
And then did they tell the chat you cannot wrench Pat anymore?
I ain't afraid to use my wrench.
Yeah. Sevan said, don't boot him. But I also, I realize like you can't insult people. I mean, if you insult people, you're gonna get, that's no good. Have fun, disagree, make it fun, but don't be an asshole.
Bernie, getting wrench builds character. Oh shit. Is this the KDL? KDL, you're a bully.
What did Judy say one time? Pat said he wished his wife could stay at home and not work. Yeah, she did.
So he semi-redeemed himself.
Yeah.
I remember when they booted you, my family ate bread and butter for a week.
Uh,
Hey, I'm gonna ask a dude question.
yep.
Do you know how, just because Judy brought it up, but you know how there is that like women will go after women if they are stay-at-home moms? Like
Yeah.
they'll be like, "How could you be a stay-at-home mom? Why won't you be out in the world?" Blah blah blah. As if like being a stay-at-home mom isn't like a hard fucking job. I mean, totally worth it, but hard job.
Yeah.
Is there shit like that for dudes? Like, do you have something where a whole bunch of dudes have like fuck with
like
you
if
if
your
you?
wife is not a stay-at-home
Oh,
wife and like is at work and like how
no.
come
Remember the guy in the Chiefs who made the comment at the graduation, the field goal kicker? He
Oh
said,
yeah,
you know, some of you women are going to be mothers and stay at home, and and all the lefties got pissed off about that. I,
yeah,
I don't see that. I've never seen that. I've never dealt with that. My wife says to me, my wife would rather be home.
yeah.
She works. She's a labor and delivery nurse. She only works 2 days a week. If I made more money, it's expensive to live in Boston. I have a really good job, and we need that second income with 3 kids living in this area. So, but I would love she would love to be home, and I would not love to be home. I would love. I am happy to be at work, like you said. What mothers do or fathers do if they happen to be the ones staying home. Like Sevi raises those fucking kids. I mean, that's a hard. That, God bless him. That's a hard. He's with those kids 24/7, and those kids are going to grow up to be good young men because of that.
Hell no, my friends would high five me if I was stay home. Oh, okay, does that work for dudes? Okay, I'd love to have a sugar mama.
Yeah.
Okay, CK.
You know what? I would love to if I was loaded. First thing I would do, and like millions and millions, I would play golf every single day. That's what I love to do.
God,
would-
why is that a thing?
I would join the poshiest club that I could.
Oh
find.
my gosh, that is such a thing for men, golf.
I would,
Please tell me you do not pick golf over your wife. That's all.
No, I love my wife.
Okay, I'm just checking.
I would not pick anything over my wife and kids.
All right, I'm just checking.
But golf, NFL football, NHL playoffs, anything sports related. That was my background. I always played sports. I always did that shit.
Why is golf the thing?
Golf, it's one of the most addictive sports you'll ever play. Once you hit one good shot, you're like, ooh, and then you're gonna hit 3 more bad ones, and you hit 2 good ones. And
He
the next
hesitated.
Meg, hesitated.
you say,
Meg, when I asked what it is about golf, and you stopped for a second, Meg was like, he hesitated. He had to think of the right response.
hold on, what?
A man who.
Oh, my wife just said no. You would totally pick golf.
Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah,
she knows.
No.
She knows.
That's the one thing she said. She came down here to say you're a liar.
We do that. we keep y'all straight.
I could just tell. I'm like, oh, you're gonna spend millions of dollars on a posh golf course instead of okay. Bernie, a man who becomes a stay-at-home dad is fighting against the odds family-wise. It hardly ever works. See, that's what I was kind of thinking when I asked the question, because I was just like, is there something? Because women, we put a lot of pressure on from both. We put a lot of pressure on each other. Like even when we're trying to like advocate for women, they're like two sides of women, and they just the whole time. So it's like I just wondered if there's
our own.
we attack our own.
Yeah,
So,
I can see that. I around maybe it has a lot to do with where you live, but the people that I know, almost all of them both work. That have kids. The mom and the dad all both work. There's not.
oh no, that's mostly what I know too.
Unless they're like, I have a few friends that are wealthy, and the moms go play tennis every day at the club and all that shit. But in terms of reality, normal stuff, yeah, most of them work.
Yeah.
Yeah, like for us, it's
I don't know how
schedule.
you judge someone. I just don't get it. Like, why would you judge a woman if she wanted to stay home or if she wanted to go to work?
That's what women do. That's what we do.
Yeah.
Like even literally, we can be advocating for our own. Like you see it with the trans thing. Like you have one group, which I mean, if you want to throw us into a group, we're advocating for like men not to be in women's sports and men
And
not to be in
protecting women.
and whatever. And then you have a whole other group of women that are like,
You fucking hate women.
no, they're women too, blah,
You
blah,
fucking
blah.
hate women.
And it's like,
you hate women.
And those people are the ones that make that coin that word libtard. It's those people. That's why there's words like that, because I mean, I feel like I could sit down with those people for 5 fucking minutes and change their mind. And on the issue like of something like playing sports, girls, men playing in women's sports, you know, how hard is it to? I mean, I just don't think they're looking at it clearly. They're looking at it like a discrimination type thing. They have to look at it from the other side. Just see it for a second, and they would say, "Yeah, I guess it makes sense."
Yeah. All right, last one. This is fun. And what's his face brought it up. So Jake, base show. Women attack reputation, men attack physically. I saw something on Savon's show the other day, and I actually messaged him about it. And so now I'm going to ask you about it, since I feel like we
they're
might
both
have
here, so go
Yeah,
ahead.
like,
They're both here.
if a woman starts a fight with a dude, because he played that video of these women beating up the cops or whatever, and it was one of them was a male cop.
Yeah.
If a woman hits a dude, shouldn't she just expect to get hit back? Like, if I start a physical altercation with anybody, man, woman, whatever, I'm expecting that I'm gonna get punched back.
Yeah.
And I just assume that. And these girls just think, hey, I can hit a dude and they're not allowed to hit me back.
Yeah. Like, if a girl hit me, I would just walk away. That's just me. And unless it got to the point where she was going to hurt me, then I would defend myself. If I was a police officer in that situation right there, I would have fucking put those women down in a second. That was embarrassing. Sevon was 100% right. Those cops and that female cop, if she couldn't have done it physically, she should have tased those girls and put them down. You can't let that. It really is sad. Maybe they were told that they can't use force. You know, a lot of these liberal.
I'm just wondering if we're teaching girls that it's okay to hit men
Maybe.
because they can't hit you back, and we're teaching boys, hey, don't defend yourself against girls. But I get the thing with, like, you know, what is it, spousal abuse or whatever. Sure, fine.
Yeah.
But you just walk up to some dude and start punching him in the face because you're mad or you're drunk or he won't like take you out or whatever, and he rocks your shit.
You might be right. It's possible. Here's the only thing I can tell you. Here's what I tell my son, and I've had this conversation with him. Like, if any kid at school comes up and fights and tries to hurt you, you defend yourself and you do it physically and violently if you have to. If a girl ever starts with you, you turn around and go the other way, unless it comes to the point where that's what I teach my son.
Yeah.
But like, my daughters would never do that to anyone. They know better. So I don't know what the answer is to your question. If women do think that, or if those girls were just trailer park trash.
No, I've seen it more. I've seen it a lot of times where you just like,
but you're right. You punch someone. I mean, you should expect
Joseph Ramirez flip this shit.
Yeah, you punch a guy, you should be expected to get whacked right back in the face, and you fucking deserve it.
Equal rights includes a right hook to the face.
Yeah, you deserve it.
And also, too, if you're one of those girls out there fighting dudes, and then all of a sudden you want your dude to fight another dude for you. If I'm that dude, I'm like, fuck that.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not fighting shit for you. Like, at all.
So much of that white trash crap.
Oh, is that your fire alarm going off?
No, it's my gay ringtone that my parents have. That my kids put on for me. The town I live in has a lot of white trash in it, and there's a lot of fights like that late night. You know, girls love to throw down. They do. I
don't know why we're discussing it, Mike. It was just a question I had in my head, and
Mike, fuck you. You come on next time. You talk about
it. Was a question I had. I had a question. I asked it. It's that's all I got. Gay ringtone.
It's a gay ringtone. You know, I don't mean it in a bad way.
Oh no, I call shit gay all the time. I don't.
I think it's a great word when it's talked about like that.
It's our word. I took it back.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, was that an illegal alien ringtone? No. All right, guys. This was fire. Dude, thank you so much for coming on.
It was fun. Thank you.
I really do appreciate it.
Yeah.
I wish we could have gotten into the religion one. I would have liked to. I just got so pumped up with all the stuff we kept talking about that I forgot all about it. But
Like,
That just means she'll have you back.
yeah,
probably.
and I just don't want the religion thing's tough because I have a lot of these people here are very religious, and
I am too. Like, but I still
that's-
want to talk about it.
sometimes they take it personal when I talk about how I feel about it, and I don't want that to happen. I like these people regardless of of if they like God or not. So
What happened? What's the matter, Standy? When I say gay, do I realize what I'm saying, or when he says gay?
I don't think she knew I was kidding, but yes, I know that they're gay. Standy,
I love Standy too.
I love her. She's
Standy's fun. Standy got into it. She was in a match this morning in the chat. I saw that, Standy. I'm not gonna say I saw it. I loved it. I was like a good cat fight. It was amazing. It was cool.
all right.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you,
guys.
dude. When we have Pat Lange the sequel, I don't know. I'm gonna try. We got baseball season right now, so
Yeah.
I don't know,
Yeah,
but
you
we're gonna
will.
give it a shot.
We
All right.
will.
All right,
I
thank
look
you, Pat
forward to it
Lange.
again. Thanks.
Appreciate
Pat.
you. So what is his last name? Lange or Lang?
We gotta call him Lang. He said he Pat Lang. That's it.
Okay.
We gotta. That's what it is.
Standy, I said nothing. Pull up the receipts. I can that was funny, girl. It was funny. I enjoyed that. Trish, what's up? Adults in the house. They are gay? Question mark. I know. I try not to lead with that so many times, but pat down. Cool. That was fun. Thank you, you guys. Thank you. You made this.
That was
This
good.
is really awesome. Mike
was a great-
McCaskey,
was a great
Barry, Kenneth, all you guys.
Yeah.
Bernie, always good to see you. Joseph. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Thank you.
My
Thank you.
opinion has not changed.
I'll have to watch this back.
Listen, it was a good conversation. It was a good conversation, and that's all that we were looking to have.
Yeah, Judy, that's what I meant. Thank you for hanging out. Yeah, that's totally what I meant. That was a good one.
Mhm.
I enjoyed that. In a row off. Yeah, Brianna and Standy in a row off. That would be, yep.
Thank you, Jeremy.
Thank you, Judy. Well done, ladies. Thank you. Where is Judy? Yeah, Judy. Even I showed up. I know. I was just joking the other day. I really was. I was just having some fun and like
We missed you. That's
I
what
was
she
like-
was saying. We missed you.
I was like, don't tell Judy I'm having Pat on. But thank you for hanging out. It was great. It was great. Yeah. Sevon.
Thanks,
Pat's
Sev.
an amazing guest. Yeah. Thank you for bringing him into our lives. We appreciate you. So we'll see you on Saturday for Pedro. And then we're going on the Sevon podcast on Sunday afternoon with our girl Ellie Hiller. Talk about some mom stuff and some more girl cat fights. How'd you lose 10 subscribers? I don't know what we said. I don't know.
I don't know what we said.
I don't know what we said. So, but apparently we said something that was, oh well. It's okay. That's the game, right? Goes up and down, fluctuates. It's all good. Thanks, guys.
Bye,
Love
guys.
you. We appreciate you. We out.
We'll see you this weekend.
Deuces.
Bye.